things about trading Forex is that you don't actually know exactly which trade is going to be a crazy winner or just another loss.
What's up, everybody? We are currently live.
We'll take away the weekly.
Trace back down to order book. Then that price is going to be bullish.
Point sort of chasing the market. I was more than happy to stay flat.
Hello everyone.
With the kangaroo toe.
Always recommend trading on the 5 minute.
Some of these exotic pairs and pretty steady uptrend, making these higher highs and higher.
Mostly trend following.
The stimulus in a certain way.
Alrighty, traders. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to the session today. Hopefully, everyone has had a great week so far, and looking forward to the weekend. I certainly am. We got a lot to talk about today as we go ahead and take a look at the price action move in the safe haven currency pairs this week, and that is on the Swiss, the JPY, as well as the US dollar. We did have some data coming out this week that showed that the Feds are going to keep the rates unchanged. There's some chatter though that they may go ahead and look to increase rates before the end of the year. Well, look, there's obviously raising rates is an inflation stabilizer, and it needs to be done. But we definitely have a lot of other issues around this. Within this economy that needs to be addressed first. Jobs do look like, if we go ahead and take a look at the numbers today, let me go ahead and pull up the jobs numbers today. And we can go ahead and take a look. So here is the data that was reported this week. We noticed that we did have the Aussies that had the cash rate that came out this week. They kept the rates unchanged at 0.1%. Then as we go further down right here, we can see that the Feds came out. They decided, nope, keep the rates unchanged, 0.2%. Again, all the central banks are talking about a possible rate hike before the end of the year. Now, if we go further down here, we see that we have the pound rate decision. So 3 rate decisions coming out this week, and yet the markets didn't move, very aggressively. But we did get some movement. We did get some trend movements out this week. Now, for the UK, they also decided that they're going to keep the rates unchanged at 0.1%. So no change to the rate there. And then we had the jobs come out this morning for both Canada and for the US. And if you look at the data, the markets aren't really reacting according to what the data is reporting. Because if you see here, we came out with the Canadian Canadian employment change, and that showed that the employment change only grew 31,000, where the previous number was 157,000. So that's a big drop from the previous number. Now, we did get unemployment rate that did go ahead and tick 2 points lower at 6.7%. So there was somewhat positive news coming out of the unemployment rate, but the employment change, a huge drop from what we had previously. Now, could it be that people are coming back to work based on the COVID restrictions that had been lifted last month, and that's why we got such a big number coming back last month? But this month, not so big. If we do start seeing some trend of these numbers staying where it's at right now, then we may actually say that this could be just a smaller trend that's taking place right now based on reality, right? That, yes, we had a big number coming back last month. This month, it won't be as much, and we'll have this continue to move forward. Now, if we take a look at the US numbers, always look at the average earnings. The average hourly earnings is important. That's staying flat right now from the previous month. We see that we got 0.6 the previous month. This month is 0.4. So that is down, but flat based on the prediction. The prediction is 0.4%. So not really an exciting report on the average earnings. But look at the average, the non-farm. The non-farm employment change, we had an upside move to 531K. That's really big, okay? And if we take a look at the employment rate, the employment rate was at 4.6%. That's what's reported. And the unemployment rate showed last month at 4.8%. So we did go ahead and show a little higher numbers on that. And that's both for the CAD and for the US for the unemployment rate. So that did show a little positive. Now, if I look at the data, me looking at the data would be thinking not so good UK numbers and better numbers out in the US. So the US better numbers. So you would be thinking that if you look at the US dollar CAD pair, you would be thinking that we should be seeing a rally in US dollar CAD. Well, let's take a look and see what really materialized. Firstly, number one, here's the dollar index chart, and you can see right here over the last, in fact, I could switch it out to the hour. You can see in the last hour after the news was reported, we actually saw a downside move. So a downside move, I know that the candle before that would have been the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock candle. This is the one right here. And then we've got the 9 to 10 o'clock candle right here. So this is when the news reported. So we didn't really get much coming out of the news that gave us any directional bias. But it was after, about 30 minutes after the news came out, then we saw this big downside move in the dollar. Now let's go to the dollar CAD chart. See the same thing reflecting right here. This is the 8 o'clock candle. And so we did see dollar losing ground, which means that the Canadian was actually strengthening. So loss of dollar, strength of the Canadian, and that's what caused that little rally, the little dip to the downside. Now, price has gone ahead and pulled back up here since then. Now, this could be the market now just being shell-shocked and now suddenly coming back and realizing, oh, wait a minute, maybe the data wasn't as what we thought it was, and now it's starting to turn. So it's now more likely looking like what the data is reporting. So this bearish move that we saw initially wasn't quite what we would be thinking based on the data that was reporting. But now the markets are starting to move a little bit better. But if you go ahead and take a look right here, we could just be coming back to retest maybe the backside of this trend line right here. And this hourly candle is still active. It's only been active for about 7 minutes. But once it closes out, we'll see how that plays out. And that'll tell us whether this was just a retest of this backside of the trend line, or in fact we are starting to see the market move based on what we anticipate in the news to be determining the market movement. So we'll see how that plays out at the end of the week, end of the candle. Now let's go into talk about what we were going to speak about, and that is, of course, safe haven currency pairs: dollar, Swiss, and of course the JPY. If we take a look at this specific chart right here on US dollar CAD, you can actually look over here and you can see that we are in this wave structure. This is the 4-hour time frame, and I think it's important to note here, okay? Note how the market's gone ahead and created this wave 1, wave 2, come back to retest right here. We drop back down south. We did find a bit of consolidation here, but price managed to break through. Oh, by the way, I was in on a trade. That's why I've got your break even. I was actually in on a US dollar trade for a long time, trying to pick the bottom right here, and we actually closed out with profit. There was multiple positions. We did close out with profit, but we decided to take early profit on this, not actually go higher than what I was hoping for, just because of the fact that we've got this 382 bounce right here, and this also shows me a little zigzag pattern right here. There we go. Zigzag pattern, and that's indicating that price may turn around and head south from that point onwards. So US dollar CAD is definitely at resistance right here, and my expectation would be looking and seeing a fallen dollar. So falling dollar would be my expectation based on what I'm seeing on the dollar index and what I'm seeing currently right now in US oil. We'll take a look at US oil. So I'm going to look for dollar. So let's go ahead and start writing down some notes for this next week as we look for next week trading. So next week trading, I'm looking for a dollar weakness, and I'm looking for US dollar CAD. So this is my first confirmation. US dollar CAD is going to be bearish in next week. That's what my anticipation. I want to keep below this level right here. Let me go ahead and mark it off. Looks like price is moving a little high, but This right here, 24.63. I'd like to see price staying below that level. Actually, let me draw it up. Let me see here. It's in this range. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly there, but it's I want to see something bearish right in this range right here. So as price goes ahead and forms this, let's go ahead here. This is it right here, right at this point right there. That's where I'm going to see, or at least call this my turning point, right? Let me just move this out the way so I can get rid of this. All right, so this is where my turning point is going to be at right here. So this is where I'd like to see something bearish, and it could also mean that we could move down to a 1 hour time frame, and then looking for a change in trend on the 1 hour. So here's the 1 hour right here. So what we'll do on the 1 hour, we'll start looking for channels on the 1 hour, and if we can see some reversal patterns, maybe a break of trend line, maybe a break of a channel, that'll be something that go ahead and confirm that we're heading back down south. So we're at my turning point at the moment right now. Now it's just a matter of finding the entry point to get in on this. Okay, so this is US dollar CAD right here. Let's go to some JPY crosses. And I'm gonna start off here at the top at the Aussie JPY. And let's go ahead and just clean up a couple of things here. We did mention that we're looking for a sell-off. I'm taking the short-term trend out here, but yeah, we did talk about a sell zone. We were also looking at Aussie JPY. We've been, in fact, looking for Aussie JPY to sell off for a while since we had this big, long, strong rally. So we did go ahead and rally up. And this is, again, also looking at the long-term outlook, right? The long-term outlook, for those that did not know, for the Aussie JPY is actually bullish. We're in this fifth wave move that we're looking for price to go higher. So you can look over here. We completed our third wave down here. And so we're looking for price to complete that fifth wave final rally. And we're inside these subwaves. And the subwaves are indicating that we may have a temporary dip in Aussie JPY, but eventually it's going to start turning around and heading back up north. Now, if I look over here, yes, wave 1, 2, 3. So we're in this correction move. Could price go down to the 382 bounce and then turn? Well, again, here's a currency pair that you may want to go ahead and pay attention to on the lower time frame. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen next week. Maybe next week is the build up to a reversal. But we certainly know one thing, that the Aussie JPY does have an upside target that its price may potentially go to. And I'm going to call it out in a moment. By the way, hopefully everyone's got the cup of coffee. Look here, it's 4 o'clock in London right now. All right, so we gotta have tea. I guess it's 10 o'clock in the US. We got to drink coffee. My wife is cutting down my caffeine. Says I got to stop drinking a lot of coffee. So now moving into tea. Hopefully that's gonna make a change. Now, yeah. So yeah, we have a sell zone right here. I'm gonna go ahead and rule that one out now, and I'm gonna pay now more attention to what's going on right here in the downswing. So what I'm gonna be looking for over there in next week is opportunity to go ahead and look to buy in. Do we have any divergence? Actually, look over here. We do. Look at the divergence we have here on the 4-hour time frame. So really, we get an indication that the Aussie JPY is looking to turn around. Now, divergence isn't necessarily a long-term outlook, especially when you're looking at a 4-hour time frame. This could be just a temporary move to the upside. If I want to look for something more permanent and more longer, I may have to go down to go up to a daily, weekly, or even a monthly chart, and there if I find divergence, it would give me more of a long-term outlook for that particular pattern. But still, divergence definitely setting up right here on this chart. And so that does make a lot of sense that we may start seeing a turnaround and a upside move in the Aussie JPY. Now, I've had a lot of questions around traders asking, how do you take on a trade like this? How would you take on a trade like this? Well, for those that don't know, I enjoy trading a cost averaging trading approaches. This is dollar cost averaging, right? But it's very strategic. It's not just saying, well, I'm just going to get in and cost average into the position. It's very strategic. And so when you look at a trade opportunity, what is the things that you're looking for? What makes a trader want to get into a trade? Is it just because of patterns? Is it just because of price action? Or is it, oh, there we go. It is based on support and resistance. That's really what it comes to. Now, support and resistance can come into different types of forms, right? Support and resistance can come in the form of Fibonacci. It can be a level of a previous Fibonacci extension that was resistance, now becomes support. It could be horizontal lines based on highs and lows that can be support and resistance. It can be trend lines. Trend lines can act as support and resistance as well. So there's different facets or functions of support and resistance that can be used in order to be able to trade. And so when you're looking for an opportunity, and when I'm doing a cost averaging trading approach, what I'm looking for is that sort of levels. All right, I'm looking for levels of support and resistance to confirm that now it's a good time to go ahead and start buying. If I don't find that, then I'd wait for it to get to a level, and then I'll go ahead and trade it at that point. So, and again, if I get to a point where I have enough technical analysis to identify that price is coming at a certain level, and that I should see price working its way back up again, I would absolutely start thinking about buying in at that position and start cost averaging in. So I have to have enough evidence to be able to give me an opportunity to want to go ahead and buy into that trade. All right. So we're not. So let's ask the question, and let's see here. We do have a question coming up right here. Says, if there is divergence on major support, then likely to work. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. If you've got divergence at a level of support, that's another confirmation on patterns that price may go ahead and rally up. And that's why then it might be a good time to start getting into that position. So absolutely, when you have those type of things happening, it is time to start calling it a trade opportunity. So if I look over here, so let's ask the question, because you have to, right? When you look at these trade setups, you've got to ask the question, do I have enough evidence to be able to say it's now time to go ahead and trade? Well, firstly, number one, there was a bit of range trading right here between the tops and bottoms right here, right? And so as we break out of a range, normally what happens is price does something like this, right? Price goes ahead and rallies back up to this point. Then it may go ahead and drop back down and get to an actual level of support right here, then start working its way back up. All right. So this could definitely happen. But the thing here is that you have to consider is this. It's that if we do trade back above this level right here of this, then this would be my support level that I can go ahead and trade. So right now, there's nothing clear that price is trading at a support right now. So I have to be a little more patient on this. And I have to either wait for price to get back down to the 382 bounce right here, or wait for it to get back into this range and then trade the range. So although we've got sort of a directional bias on the Aussie JPY long term, we need short-term support to be able to get in on that position. So we're going to sit on this one, and we're going to wait this one out, and we're going to see if we can get price coming back to a nice support level right here, and then we'll go ahead and consider buying in on that position. So I don't see any other evidence that could convince me that price is going to turn at this level. Now let me play devil's advocate right here. Yeah, not even that's offering me an opportunity. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually going ahead and saying, hey, what if I look at the inside swings, and I drew in my first swing right here, and I go ahead and draw in the second swing right here, right? If that's the case, then take a look what we have right here. If we look at these inside swings indicate that we're at a 382 bounce. All right, we're at a 382 bounce right here. So right there at that 382 bounce, doesn't that give me enough evidence to say that price could go ahead and rally? I would say yes. So this is how I would trade it. I'm going to give an example of how I trade it. I'm actually going to go to account and put the trade in just like I would trade it. I would look at this and go and say, all right, if I'm trading at the 382 bounce, what is my next level? Where am I looking for profit? Well, I'm going to look for profit here at the 127, just because this is a fifth wave internal swing. And so my profit potential on this shows right here. If you look at the pips right here, looks like price can move, and it is a 4-hour time frame, but we can go up 410 pips. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 410 pips, and I want to enter in at, I want to take 400 pips, and I want to divide that by 3. So take 410, divide that by 3, equals 136 pips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take on a long-term position right here. But I'm going to enter this trade, and I'm going to enter this, and let's go here. Let's just open up, what did we say? This is Aussie Jpy. I think I might, oh, there, I've got it already set up right here, Aussie Jpy. And so Aussie Jpy, here's a chart right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter, I'm going to enter with a buy on this. But I want to go ahead and put my stop loss, or at least my take profit. I want to take profit on this 400. Now, I only want a net profit. I want a net profit 410 pips. All right, 410 pips. But what I also want to do is I want to enter multiple levels. And I want to enter multiple levels at, we said 136 pips. So let's go here. And let's go ahead and space out our trades 136 pips apart from each other. So every 136 pips, I'm going to re-enter into the market. So I'm going to go ahead and put a buy in here. And now I'm in. Okay, so I'm buying right now. And I've got my game plan. My game plan is this. I'm going to enter at market right here at the support level. But every 136 pips, I'm going to re-enter. 136 pips, re-enter. And that's if price is going to come back down maybe to test this previous high. If it does, I'm going to be entered. But I'm always monitoring the long-term outlook. I'm expecting price to go up here, all the way up here. And so from this level, we're looking at 410 pips. But if price does move back down south and picks up another entry point, or maybe 2 entry points, then I'm still going to look for a net 410 pip profit. That's it. That's my strategy right there. And so I don't have to worry about fundamental announcements that could, whipsaw this currency pair. If it does this, it's okay. It's okay if it does this. I don't care. As long as the overall direction moves up towards my 1.27 right here, I'm going to be good. Now, I've got trades right here sitting that are going to be waiting. If price does zip down and then rally up again, I will be able to pick up these positions, get a better entry point, and then as price starts working its way over here, I can make a decision. Do I want to take my net 410 pips out of the market, or do I actually want to go ahead and wait for price to hit that target right here? That's a decision I can make when price gets there. All right? Make sense? Okay, good. Hey, before we move to the next currency pair, I want to go ahead and let everyone know, go ahead and support the channel. This channel is absolutely doing superbly from a broadcasting point of view. A lot of guys are out here. Go ahead and smash the like button. Also, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And while you're at that, make sure you check out my YouTube channel as well, FX Big Dog. We do live sessions every week that we do. So check out my live channel as well, FX Big Dog. But support both this channel and, of course, my channel called the FX Big Dog. Just Google the name FX Big Dog, subscribe to the channel, and we'd love to see you guys in the week during my my live sessions as well. Now, let's get to the next currency pair. Next currency pair is going to be another JPY cross, and let's go to the pound JPY. Is anyone trading pound JPY? Well, if we take a look at pound JPY, all right, take a look at pound JPY, what do we see? Well, if I go ahead and actually break this down to a weekly setup right here and get a much better perspective of what's happening right here. If we look over here on the pound JPY, if you look at the weekly, you can see this large swing right here. We can see that this is just a correction move. And price is right here at the top. So long-term, give us a long-term outlook. A long-term outlook on this would be that price is going to go ahead and move back down south, right? We've got a trader right here ready to sell and sold at 155, all right, at 155. Price is actually trading at 153, so there's maybe a 200 per profits that's been generated already, maybe a little bit more than that. So good for you, my friend. Good for you for picking up at the tops. But look at the resistance we're having right here at the top. So remember, always take a step back. Take a look at a bigger picture of what's going on with a particular currency pair, right? And then go ahead and start assessing what you need to do on the lower time frames. So we already know that because of this big resistance at the top right here, we should be paying attention to more some downside action, right? Some downside moves. So let's clean up the chart a little bit. Let's go ahead and clean up all this fibs right here. Let's just completely clean up house. And I'm going to delete everything right here. And we're going to start scratch. We're going to really get good perspective of what's going to go down on this right here. All right, let's even kill this. So we've got, the only thing we've got open right now, we've got this downward big swing right here, which, by the way, is coming off another big downward swing. So, yeah, we had a big bearish move, and then we had another big bearish move. And sure, we've got solid support at this level. Let's actually change that and put in a solid level right here. That's a solid level of support. I mean, we don't even have data that goes that far back. But this is it right here. If price takes out this low, or these lows right here, there's nothing holding this. I mean, this is basically falling into hell right there. Nothing stopping us. So now that we've got the larger outlook of what's going on, it makes sense for us to want to be bearish at these levels right here, doesn't it? Certainly does. So let's go ahead and move down to that 4 hour. Because now we can start paying a little bit more attention to what's happening inside. So here's the inside structure right here. And so as we look over here, the first thing we have to acknowledge, we need to start taking out these lows before we can really truly say that the inside swings are bearish. All right? Because if it stays above here, if it stays above like this, if it starts bouncing and starts staying above here, then what are we actually going to think? We're thinking then that this might be a swing going up and that we're actually going to break through this channel and we're going to continue to be bullish. So we're going to certainly want to pay attention to that, right? So what we'll do here is we'll go to the top right here. Now, good. We got a trader right here speaking about divergence. Fantastic. And he says something on the monthly. Let's take a look at the monthly. And let me go ahead and pull up my divergence here. So here's the monthly. Let me move that away. All right. So this is, and I love this divergence. And I'm glad he brought it up. I love this divergence. So well spotted right here. Yeah, you can see price is certainly taking up high highs. So we have high price action right here. And yeah, we see the oscillator is working its way back down. So as we start seeing price and momentum disagreeing with each other, this is definitely confirming that another reason why this level is solid resistance. So well spotted there. All right. Just out. Is that what is it? Just out? So just well spotted right there. So we definitely got confirmation that there's resistance here at the top. Now, let's go ahead and move down. Moving that down to the lower time frame. Let's go ahead, and I want to pay attention to, now that I'm convinced that price is going to move down, I know that there's going to be a wave structure, right? Price doesn't just go down because we say it's going to go down because of a monthly divergence. Price is is still going to wave. We're still going to get the market waving. So which means that there is the possibility of price going up a little higher and retesting the dome, call it the top right here, and then working its way back down south. So it doesn't mean because the monthly is bearish that we are just going to sell off. And that's where traders need to be smart about where they get in. Because if you're not smart about where you get in, you might be getting in at the bottom of a wave cycle that is now in a correction move. And then you have to ride that correction move out before the market gets back into that wave cycle again. So let's do this. Let's break this down. Are we heading to a point where now we're going to go ahead and expect price to move up? So I'm going to go ahead and break this down on this chart right here. Firstly, number one, I'm getting really fine. I'm looking at a wave 1, 2. I don't know if we got wave 3 there, but I'm going to call this wave 4, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is wave 5 as price drops back down to this level right here. So this, to me, would be, and I'll probably go to a larger time frame, and I can see this probably be a larger wave going down right here. Let me see if I jump up to the monthlies. No, monthly's not going to help me there. Let's go to the daily. Yeah. Daily. Well, actually, the daily showed that we got a low right here. So the daily shows we got a wave 1. Let's take a look at that. So this is what the daily showed me right here. The daily showing that we got a swing from there to there. And we actually did hit the 1.618. And now we're going to swing from here all the way down here that we're going to pay attention to. If I now go ahead and bring that back to the 4-hour, what does that look like? Well, it tells me, okay, then this right here is our wave 1. So let's entertain that, because that's the only structure that we have right now that we can truly say that looks like it's falling in line. So let's go ahead and entertain that. Now, if this is our wave 1, this is our wave 2, and now we've completed our wave 3 down here, then we are looking for price to start working its way back up. So where can we see price work its way back up? So this is it right here. It looks like we can see price coming back to retest the 1.618 of the previous swing. That's that level right here. Okay, right here. So we're looking for price to move back to this level, and that's priced at 154.51. So we could probably expect in next week, about a 165 pip rally in next week. So next week, if you're doing any short-term trading, you might be doing some quick short-term bullish buys and looking for price to go ahead and move back up north. And if you can get some bullish buys on this, then you'll be looking for price to go ahead and find resistance here at around about 154.51, and then here would be a good place to start thinking bearish. All right, so we'll be selling right about here at that level. All right, that's where we want to go ahead and sell. So if you're not a trader that likes to trade against the trend, then you'll be off and on the sideline and waiting for the 165 pip rally right here, and then looking to sell. Now, this is where some of the traders would be saying, hey, okay, if we're going to see a rally, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I get any oscillator in an overbought condition. When I get an oscillator in an overbought condition, then I'm going to start cost averaging in, start getting in on that position with the expectation that price is going to move down. So if you want to take on a long-term position, then as soon as an oscillator goes into an overbought, maybe you even get some divergence on a 1-hour time frame. But when you get confirmation that price is maybe not going to hit this level, but it's starting to turn early, then it would be a good time to start cost averaging in on that particular setup. All right. And that's a great way to be able to trade that pullback, or at least get in on the pullback to continue the move to the downside. So here's a good setup here on the pound JPY. There's two things you can do. Either you're going to be trading this correction move next week as we head into next week, or you're going to be waiting for the market to finish this correction and start getting in and level yourself into a sell on the pound JPY. So that'll be a great opportunity right about here. Now, got a question from a trader right here. It says, please, do you have a channel where you save this chart? You know what? I don't normally save on this, but I can go ahead and publish this. So if you want, I can go ahead and publish this on TradingView. I can certainly go ahead and publish this once I am done. All right. In fact, let's see here. Yeah, I could go ahead and publish it, put some news in here, and just give you sort of a description right here. So if you want to go ahead and search me on TradingView as well, you should be able to pick this up. In fact, if you follow me on YouTube, there's ways to connect with me, and I might go even post this on I'll post this chart on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll post it on Twitter, and you'll be able to get that chart on Twitter. All right, so I will go publish it, and I'll share it on Twitter. All right, does that help? All right, good stuff. All right, so this is the pound JPY. And I'm just going to make a note on that because, so don't forget to go ahead and post that, pound JPY. All right. Next thing, let's go take a look at the, let's take a look over here. Pound Swiss franc. Oh, by the way, all you need to do is just search FX Big Dog, and you'll find me on Twitter. All right, FX Big Dog. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at pound Swiss franc. Now, this is not a JPY cross, but it also is one of the safe havens, which is Swiss. And let's take a look at the overall. Always go ahead and take a step back. It's very important, traders, that take a step back. And if things are complicated, then clear up the charts and start all over again. And let's just do that right now. Let's go ahead and just clean up the chart, and let's take a look at the overall. So if you look at the overall on this, what is your perspective on the pound Swiss right here? Do you think the pound Swiss is bullish, bearish? What do you think the pound is overall? Is it sideways? Bearish. All right. Good trade says bearish. Well, let's take a look right here, because what I'm seeing here is, and this is what I'm going to pull up some data right here. Look at this. Look at the pound JPY. The pound JPY, let's actually pull this up. Let's pull up the weekly. All right. So if you actually look over here on the weekly, you'll see that we actually had a good level of support right here. And then we've got this downward channel line. Oh, there. Downward channel line that's been breached. So it looks like a very not a very effective falling wedge, but we got like a falling wedge taking place right now. And price has just broken out of the downward channel line right here, broken out, and now retesting the backside right here. So do you still think that the pound Swiss is bearish? Well, if you take a look over here, this is, by the way, a weekly time frame. So if you looked at this big swing right here, then you would think that, okay, we're in this correction move on the pound Swiss franc. But the market is failing to stay above that level, and we found a lot of support right about there, right? Which means that maybe price is going to come back up to retest this level. Even if, and the trader says it's range bound sideways, right? Even if we sideways, all right, we should be expecting price to actually go back up here. So the long-term outlook for the pound Swiss franc, if support holds, which looks like it's pretty solid right now, should be on the upside. And if you look at, if we go ahead and pull in a level right here at the top, that price can move to. And let's go ahead and put a level down here at the bottom. And if we just look at this as a range, then we should see price from where it's trading right now rally all the way up here. That's a 3,200 pip trade opportunity. So traders, if you're a trader that likes to stick to one currency pair, this is one of those pairs that could give you a 3,200 pip opportunity. But plus, you remember, you're not going to just trade from there to there in one single trade. You can be entering multiple trades as the market starts waving up. But the most important thing on this is that we've got directional buyers. Our directional buy should be that we should be buying on the dips going long on the lower time frame. All right. So let's go take a look and see. Does that make sense? So if that's the case, then don't you think that we should be paying attention, all right, paying attention to price action that's moving north and look to see if the market is fulfilling its wave structure? Well, let's do that. And if you look over here, and you know I love it, you know I love my wave structure. And so here we start, wave one, right? Market comes back, pulls back. Then it shoots off to the 1.618 right here. Now we're in a pullback. But we're not just in a pullback. Take a look right here. Look at the wave one high. Price normally comes back to retest the wave one high. And it comes back to retest the backside of the trend line that has gone ahead and broken above. So if you look over here, doesn't the pound Swiss look like we may get to a level of support right here and then look to bounce back up again? Also, take a look how this wave structure created a zigzag right here. Now, what is that? Why is that important? Well, there's two corrections in a market cycle. It's in wave 2, which is here. This is wave 2. And then we have wave 4. Wave 2 and wave 4 is correction patterns, right? Or correction waves. And so in the wave structure, in the complete market cycle that we're seeing right here, we're going to have 3 impulsive moves. Wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5. Wave 2 and wave 4 are correction patterns. And normally the patterns on wave 2 and 4 are not the same, which means this wave, we can see we had consolidation where price moved back and forth inside this. But this wave, we had a zigzag. And so we have 2 different types of patterns. Traders, here is a good time to start thinking bullish on pound Swiss franc. Now, a lot of traders, if they look at the lower time frames or even the daily, they might be thinking, just like one of our traders right here says, bearish. But it's short term. The bearers are going to run out of steam, and the bulls are going to take control of the market on the pound Swiss franc. And so as we take a look right here, we are going to move this down to a 4-hour time frame. And on the 4-hour time frame, we've still got our analysis on here. But now what we're going to do here is we're going to start looking for change. Now, I want to go ahead and point this out. Okay? If you're going to wait for the 4-hour to go ahead and reverse to start looking to buy on the 4-hour time frame, then clearly we're going to have to start waiting for a downward trend line to be breached, which means that we've got to take out this downward trend line. We've got to see price going ahead and trading above right here, taking out a high so we can start seeing higher highs forming, maybe form a crown pattern right here in a nice bullish pattern. Look for the right tip and then start entering right here, looking for price to move up. That would be obviously a way to trade it and be conservative. So looking at a 4-hour time frame, being conservative on your entry point, that would be something absolutely some traders would want to pay attention to. But if you're anxious to get in, and we have some traders that are anxious, then there's nothing stopping you from saying, hey, I'm going to go down to even a 15-minute time frame. And I'm going to look on a 15-minute time frame for reversal patterns. And I'm going to trade reversal patterns because I know that the long-term outlook is going to be bullish. And so going ahead and saying, and again, this could be an absolute way to trade it, saying here is my high that was taken out. We had price action show me a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're probably going to be in a pullback. So which means that I've got to wait for price to come back down to about here. And this is where I'm going to start buying in. I'm going to start buying in at this level right here as we have price come back in a retracement. But overall, this is going to be my larger A-B swing right here. This is going to be what I'm going to be paying attention to right here. So my swing will be something like this. Below, high right here. And now I'm probably looking for a 618 pullback and then looking for price to go here. And so in the short term, if I can enter here at the 618 bounce, look for price to move up to the 1.618, I'm looking at a 92 pip gain on that particular trade. But remember, we trade in the 15-minute time frame. So if you're going to play stop losses below here, your stop losses will be below this level at this level, and that's at around about a 28 pip stop. So just a little bit more than that, maybe a 35 pip stop loss right there. So 35 pip stop loss for a 92 pip gain. We're looking at just short of a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio, or the 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio. So you're looking at about a 2.5 risk-reward ratio. So the ratio is good. Now, you could also say, well, big dog, you know what? I'm going to enter at the 618 bounce, and you're going to go ahead and apply what I would do, and that's a cost averaging. So my approach on this would be enter 618 bounce, right? On the pullback, enter on the 618 pullback. But then when price takes out this low, I want to go ahead and enter at another level right here. So I want to enter here. I want to cost average and enter below the low right here. So if we do take out the low, I'm still bullish, but it might mean that the short-term trend is maybe breached. But that's okay. I'm still long-term bullish. I'll buy over here. And then if the price moves down to this buy zone that we spoke about right here, I'll go ahead and buy right there, and then I'll be on the sideline. I'll enter 3 times, and then I'm going to be on the sideline. Now I want to see, based on this, now I want to see price turning around and moving north. Well, I'll go again, look for a trend line break, look to trade the break of the trend line, and then start adding to the position as the market starts going towards the target. Okay, so definitely pound Swiss franc. If you haven't paid attention to the pound Swiss franc, don't like that currency pair, maybe you want to go ahead and take a quick squiz at that, because there is definitely a good opportunity coming up on this particular pair. You just got to go ahead and find out what suits your comfort zone. Okay, so there's a good trade coming up on the pound Swiss right here that I'm real interested in. And again, you're at the very key level of support right here. To be looking to buy this long, going long. I think we got so much upside potential on this. Like I said, 3,200 pips on this one right here. All right, let's see. I think we got time for one more. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into, someone mentioned gold. Let's go take a look at gold. All right, so gold. So gold is still in this this wedge at the moment right now. Still in this wedge. We have been speaking about buy opportunities right here. We spoke about a buy opportunity there. We spoke a buy opportunity here. We're not out of the woods though yet. We still got to break above this trend line. So the bulls haven't really confirmed that we're bullish yet until we actually break out this trend line and start seeing the market take out those highs above the trend line. But we are on our way. We can definitely say that gold is getting stronger and we're getting it's starting to push higher. But we're not in an area where we can feel complete confidence that that the bulls are in control of gold. So if we do break out, we're looking for price to take out that 1900 level right here, and then possibly go up to around about 1962, 1960, 1940, around about there, before we see any sort of deeper correction move. So this next move that we're expecting from gold is a rally towards around about 1940. Okay, let's jump into some altcoins. Anyone investing in cryptos? Anyone investing in cryptos? First thing I'd like to look at in for cryptos is looking at this structure right here. This is the BTC dominance chart. BTC dominance chart right now is showing that we're getting less dominance in Bitcoin right here. All right, which means that the altcoins. But what this also tells me is, and this is the important part right here, what this also tells me is that we've come all the way back down to the wave one of this this upward move, we're still waiting for the BTC dominance chart to go ahead and rally towards this level. The structure is still in place. Take a look right here. We got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is still, and let me go ahead and correct this right here. Notice that after we took out the wave 3 high, we never got to the 1.27 right here to complete that fifth wave. So price is still expected to go to that level, all right? And that is around about 48% right there. So we're trading at, BTC chart is at 42% right now. We're coming back to where the previous wave 1 lows at, or at least high. And so I'm expecting, and it's imminent. This is like the La Palma volcano that's just about to erupt. It's like it's imminent, right? It's right there, and that's something that I don't know if anyone's paying attention to that, but I am. But this is what's going on. We are going to see price move back up. Now, what's going to push the BTC dominance chart that strong in Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin really? Bitcoin is an inflation fighter. All right, inflation fighter. When you see a lot of weakness out in the dollar, you tend to start seeing Bitcoin moving higher and stronger higher. Anytime we start seeing some sort of negative move in the dollar, we start seeing Bitcoin starting to rally. And so you just wonder, what is it that's going to come up? What's going to come up between now and the end of the year that's going to create this big move in Bitcoin that may end up, and we've already looked at the dollar index, and the dollar index is looking to a sell-off. So what's going to give us a big sell-off in dollar and a big rally in Bitcoin? Well, I don't want to do any sort of I don't want to start any sort of conspiracy, but I want you to take a look. I want you to take the weekend and just go take a look at, and this is what it is. It's called the La Palma volcano. La Palma Island. Take a look at the Palma Island, right? The volcano on the La Palma Island. Take a look at that. That's in it's just at the, I think at the south end of Spain. Take a look. It's an island on its own. There's a volcano that they've been talking about for years now, and these major eruptions. And if there's an eruption there, and we have a landslide, and half of that mountain falls into the water, we're talking about 500 kilometer cubic meter drop into the ocean. That's the amount of volume that's going to drop into the ocean. They're talking about a mega tsunami that could take place, and that could hit the eastboard of the U.S. And if that's the case, that's going to be a problem for New York. And if it is a problem for New York, couldn't this create an issue? Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy right here. But what I do see is I'm definitely seeing something setting up on the chart that tells me that we're going to see a big sharp rally in Bitcoin. We're going to see a big drop in US in the dollar index. So when you look at these type of things, you just got to question, what is it that's correct that's coming up? We can't see what the news and fundamentals is going to be, but what's really coming up that's going to create this big move in the market? I don't know. You got to take a look at that. Now, as I look at the dominance chart right here, let's take a look at Bitcoin itself. Here's Bitcoin set up right here. Look at the wave structure. Wave 1, 2, 3. We're in this fourth wave move. So we're in this retracement. And so we're looking for Bitcoin to go back up here to about 74,000. Now, we've got traders. We've got a lot of social media hype that's indicating that we may see Bitcoin at 100,000 by the end of the year. Well, it's going to take something really, really wild to get Bitcoin to 100,000. And if you look over here, 74,000 is definitely a keeper. We definitely believe 74,000 is going to come into play. 100,000, that's going to really take something. All right, that's really going to take something to get there. So that's going to be something really strong in the news that's going to get to that level. Again, got to question. You got to question yourself. What's going on? You know, what's going to push it to that point? Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's doing the same thing. We've got Ethereum that's actually Ethereum's actually completed this inside cycle right here. Look at this. We got here's a wave structure, internal wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got price that's completed a fifth wave right here. Then we've got this larger wave structure. And this larger wave structure shows us that price is going to go all the way up here to around about 5,400. So I'm looking for price on Ethereum to go to about 5,400. Now, as I look at this internal structure, here we had an internal structure right here from the turning point right here. So here we had the turning point, and then we saw wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's 5. So could we see, if Bitcoin's going to start rallying, we could start seeing Ethereum starting to follow suit, which means that my expectation of a possible retracement down to around about 4,000 may not take place before we start seeing the rally to 5,600. If things happen in the news that I'm thinking is going to happen, then maybe, just maybe, we'll hit 5,400 or 5,600 pretty quickly, just like we could hit 100,000 in Bitcoin as well if the news does drive the market. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. The one thing is that we're definitely in a strong bullish trend. We're absolutely in a strong bullish trend. And so we'll see how this continues and whether or not we stay above that 3,400 level. Okay. Now, coins that are moving really solid right now that we should be paying attention to. Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up one coin for you. I'm just going to mark off one coin that you need to maybe pay attention to. If I go ahead and take a look at the altcoins, and I'm looking at the last, let's take the last week. Last week, Dogecoin is down 12%. So one of them is Dogecoin. Another one is Shiba. Shiba is down in the last 7 days. We're down 23% right here. Shiba's trading at 5,200. It's up on the day 5,000. So we could possibly see a big move out of Shiba right here. So this is another, and I know you've seen a lot of chatter around the block, right? But Shiba right now, if you go to Shiba chart, take a look at Shiba right here. Look at the look what happened. I have reinvested. I was buying in down here. I was buying in over here, and now I'm buying in back here. I never took profit when we got to the top because my next move on Shiba, okay, my next move on Shiba is going to be to 10,500. Here it is right here. That's the next move I'm looking at. And if we do have a big alt move, then maybe we're going to go a lot higher than that. But that's going to be my move to the top right here on Shiba. So I'm looking for Shiba to move up. And that, from where it traded down here, that's going to be about a 150 pip opportunity, 150% return on your investment, right? So this is where I'm at on a Shiba. I'm liking a Shiba. I'm thinking it's going to move on the weekend, probably going to be towards the mid part of this month. But Shiba looks like a good play for a good return in a short period of time. All right, traders. Well, that pretty much wraps up for my session today. I want to go ahead and thank everyone for coming out. Appreciate the comments. Great comments there in the comment box. Thank you for being active in the comment box because it's really terrible when you broadcast and nobody's saying anything. But you guys have been really great. I really appreciate that. I want to go ahead and remind everyone, smash the like button here on this YouTube channel. We want to get this channel out there and get the video out there to as many people as possible. So go ahead and do that. Spread the news. Smash the like button. Support the channel. Support Nick and his team, what they're doing here in the A1 trading. It is really awesome. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, team. And thank you guys for everything. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today's stream. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. And hey, before you go, make sure to check out our guest on social media, as well as subscribe to the A1 Trading YouTube channel for more free trading content throughout the week. Before we go, I do also want to say down below in the description, there's all sorts of great perks for you if you're looking for a broker. We've got some recommended brokers. We've also got a Telegram channel and email newsletter that you would probably benefit from if you're an aspiring trader. So take advantage of some of that free stuff down below. It will also help out the channel tremendously, and we will see you back tomorrow.